Hello there, Virgo, and welcome to your monthly reading. I hope that everything is getting off to a great start for you. I can't wait to see what kind of information and energy is coming through for you as well. If you're brand new to the forecast, or to these monthly videos, I should say, I just want to say welcome, and I'll give you a quick update on how I work through everything each month. I like to start off with some channeled information, which we'll get to in just a second. Then I look at a Celtic cross, which will show all of the information coming through for this month. And then we dive a little bit deeper into the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. So let's start with the channeled information. Every month I like to meditate on the sign, engage in some automatic writing, and see what comes through. As I was tuning into your sign, this is the information and the guidance that I received. Basically, the main thing you want to do is focus on asking questions and being inquisitive. I saw you going through and turning over leaves and turning over rocks and stones, and for me that's of course symbolic for being diligent, being inquisitive, being careful. This care and attention is definitely going to help you out later in the month in feeling that you are prepared and being ready for whatever surprises come your way. So spend any time that you have at the beginning of the month, especially if your schedule has eased up a little bit, or even if you're busy, just want you to be extra careful. Look at the fine print, and if there's anything going on where you feel like you need more insight, you need more support, you need more answers, then ask those tough questions sooner than later, and you can avoid feeling like you're overwhelmed or having some other issues pop up later this month. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards and see what additional messages they're going to bring through. Now at this point, I typically remain quiet as I give the cards a shuffle, and like you, I want to just observe what cards come through and where they are. In addition to the cards that I just pulled, I like to add to the spread something I call a catalyst. The catalyst card not only tells you how the month is going to sort of kick off, but it also connects all of these cards together, giving you an overarching message and piece of advice. So we have adjacent possibilities, one of my favorite cards, which is literally showing to think of a different way around the situation or outside of the box. And we see that sometimes the solution may be in front of us, but it may not be exactly how we perceive it to be. And that's why, as I was digging into your channeled information, it was really about asking questions. Don't be afraid to make sure that you understand everything. And if you think there might be a new way of doing something, bring it to someone's attention, let them know, have a discussion about that. The more you plan, the more you question, and the more you work on whatever the sort of challenges are at the beginning of the month, obviously the easier the end of the month is going to be for you. Now, your central card was Five of Pentacles, and Five of Pentacles in a reverse state. And as we look at the top of this card, since these are two-sided cards, which is kind of cool, what we see as the solution to getting out of Five of Pentacles, which is a card of feeling like you are not having enough. Sometimes not having enough validation, maybe not having enough resources, enough money, enough time, enough energy. It's to reach up or reach out in this case and ask for help. And you don't want to feel like you are the character underneath here, which is just feeling like the world is coming down on top of you. You have help and you have assistance. In fact, that central card was crossed by the Lovers. And so this is showing me that there's a lot of support, a lot of people around you that care. And when I look at Deep Past showing me what you've been busy with over the past few months, we have the Two of Cups. And with this, I can see that many of you have been working on either starting a new partnership, a new friendship, maybe a new love relationship. Now in that relationship, however, with the crowning card is the Devil in reverse, there's a need to be as transparent as possible. Likewise, when we're looking at the central cards and how they are all reacting to one another, we have Five of Pentacles, Lovers, then the Devil, and the Two of Cups. So your relationship may be put to a test this month. And when I'm looking at what the test is, it's the King of Wands in reverse. And the King of Wands in reverse is sometimes about being stuck in a way of thinking, closed-minded, or unable to budge or move. again, it can be something like physically feeling like I don't want to do this, or it can be mentally, I can't listen to what you're saying because I'm too emotionally attached to something. And that attachment is really what the devil is. So your challenge this month is either to open up your mind, or this significant relationship in your life, help them open up their perspective so that they can see something from a new angle. Which of course brings us back to what we saw initially here in your catalyst card, seeing that sometimes the solution isn't necessarily like right in front of you. It might be somewhere that you're not used to looking, in a way that you're not used to thinking. And this is the same for that other person in your life. They might have to widen their perspective a little bit. As we move into the near future, which is issues and opportunities that are going to present themselves this month, we have a 10 of Swords in reverse. Now, when I'm looking at this card, the main piece of information that I'm getting is to try to observe boundaries, not to get so in someone else's energy or situation that you're having a difficult time knowing where they end and you begin. Because some people feed off of that tension, off of that drama. And if there's someone in your life where it seems like consistently they always seem to be attracting or creating or observing the negative side of things or the critical side of things, what you want to try to do is extricate, remove, and separate yourself from this. Create boundary. You can still listen, you can still support people like this, but you do not have to constantly agree with. You don't have to always be in the middle of it. Sometimes you can just say, you know, I don't think we should talk about this, or it's not appropriate here, or we've already discussed this. I really like to move on to something else. I know that for empathic people, this can be hard, putting up the limits, because you care a lot about someone. But as an empath, as a healer, as a light worker, it is not your karma, it is not your sole duty on this planet to take all people's pain and internalize it. Because what it does is it doesn't allow for them to create coping mechanisms and the ability to overcome their problems. We're here to assist and give people different ways of working with challenges in their life, but we don't have to take on all the pain all the time. Of course, there are moments where you do want to be there. You want to have someone lean on you, especially if it's a loved one, and especially if it feels good to you. But limits are good. There are times when your body and your energy needs to reset, and if that's the case, observe limits and realize when perhaps you might be enabling. Because this Devil card is just like all of these cards have two sides. I really like this, the illustrations because of that, this deck because of that. What you want to think of is, what am I doing to this situation that's creating some of the drama? Am I enabling? Am I encouraging? Am I not kind of like snuffing this out and saying enough is enough? Look at it from your perspective and think, what can I do better to help neutralize this? All right, let's look at some of the other things that are coming through this month, looking at where you're at and where you're headed, which is something that I know most of you are very interested in. One thing that I want to mention is it seems like for some of you, vitality, your overall energy could be in a lower space. With the 10 of Swords, this could be because of being overworked. Some of you may be suffering from some sort of chronic illness or just fatigue. And if that's the case, your first thing that you should be focusing on is, we talked about asking questions and things like that. You should go to the doctor. You should take care of this. You should ask for some time off. You have to take care of yourself. And if there's someone in your life that is suffering or going through a hard time, the same thing applies. They need to take care of themselves. So health is your primary concern, and working on getting from a place of fatigue to a place of strength. And for those of you that this is more symbolic, and it can also be from a place of feeling like you are oppressed, not supported, or not empowered, to a place of empowerment, of realizing that you have a way out of this current situation, whatever it might be. So focus on that a little bit. And I do want to mention one thing as I look at these cards here. Whenever I see the Strength card, now I'm looking at 3 or 4 cards that are showing me there could be a strong maternal energy this month, and I've been seeing this in a few different spreads, but there might be challenges between you and your mother, or you and a guardian, but it does come through as female or very nurturing. And with the Strength card in reverse, it's typically a card that shows a sense of not allowing someone to be as strong as they can. It can be through codependency, which we talked a little bit about. It can also be through just you having to step up and feel like, this is my moment to be strong. I'm just going to take a chance on myself. As I'm talking, I actually feel a little bit of a blockage. And I do think just picking up on the energy of the cards, sometimes this happens for me, but it is like the third chakra. And so that's a place where you can meditate, where you can breathe. And that's, if you take 2 or 3 fingers and put them above your belly button, that's kind of that area, and that's where I'm feeling the pain. So I want you to focus on breathing and opening up that stomach area. That's a blockage that I've seen across a few signs this month, so I think everybody would benefit from doing that this month. As we look at your environment card, we have the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands in reverse is about staying true to your vision. So if there's something that you're trying to create this month, don't give up. And realize that it may need a little bit more development, but whatever it is you're trying to create in your life, it could be a new sense of being. It could be about if you're at work and you have an idea for a project, making sure that your voice is heard. Don't give up. Keep working hard, keep developing, and know that the more that you put into it, the more positivity and the more growth that's eventually going to happen. In fact, if we jump to the end of the month, we have a beautifully illustrated death card that actually shows rebirth, which is what really the inverse of death is, or stagnation is. The whole purpose of this month is to create almost this, if you think of a supernova, what's after the supernova is you take an element that was dying or that was no longer working the way that it should, and then you rearrange everything and you have new elements, you have a new beginning. So what you're doing is taking away some of these things that aren't working. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a way of communicating, maybe it's just taking care of yourself. But at the end of the month, you are invigorated. You have this little baby, which we see at the top here. So the inverse of stagnation, which is birth, growth, opportunity, brighter horizons, better future. This has all been building up to a very optimistic outcome, which is getting unstuck, which I love. And in fact, there's a theme of getting unstuck. The 10 of Swords was reversed. The Devil was reversed. The 5 of Pentacles was reversed. So all of the cards that were very difficult are lessening, are weakening. Additionally, at the end of May, you just went through a full moon. Now as June starts off, you're going to start to feel that energy that was heavier or that was emotionally difficult start to wane. And so it's a great time to let these old patterns die, to create new things, and to create growth in your future. Right underneath that, which is your opportunity card, we have the Page of Swords in reverse, which is constructive criticism. Be constructive. And for me, I also kind of, if I were to equate this with going out and gardening, this is sort of like taking a rake or a shovel or a hoe and taking the ground and creating something new, going in and getting hands-on or your hands dirty. So I want you to be very active towards the last 2 weeks of the month. Active in your speech, in your writing, in your activities, physically as well if your body allows. And this is going to shift all of the energy that we were seeing here that has been wanting to move into a positive direction. Getting back to what you've been working on in the past, which was this 2 of Cups, which is synergy, which is partnership, which is coupling. And really capitalizing on these positive cards, the King of Wands, the Page of Wands, good ideas, goodwill, and this sort of ability to expand your consciousness. All of this stuff is still at your disposal, but you have to work through the transparency issues that we uncovered, the boundary issues that we uncovered, and get back to realizing and reminding people that it's all about caring about one another, and you're doing this because you want to feel better and you want to really be unconditional with your love, with what's going on in your life. So you have to clear out all of the debris so that then you can start new, start fresh. Let's expand the forecast, and I think we'll get more insight into each of these areas, and then we'll regroup at the end. We'll start off first with your health card. Health, of course, being something that's all-inclusive with mind, body, and spirit. And this is, sometimes it has to do with diet, sometimes it just has to do with how you're managing your time and energy. But let's see what the card has to say. We have sobriety. And when I see the sobriety card, it generally speaks to all forms of detoxification. Getting rid of sugar, getting rid of caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, whatever's clouding your ability to be clear, to be clean, to be able to just energetically feel things on a normalized level. So if it's a deeper level of sobriety that you're seeking, some sort of alcohol or drug addiction, obviously you're going to need help for this. But any sort of sobriety, you might want to partner up with somebody, particularly if it's something like trying to kick the caffeine habit, and make sure that you have people there that can support you and that are on the same path towards a cleaner way of living. This is going to help you mind, body, and spirit. Your energy and your intuition, everything's going to be sharpened. Let's take a look now at your wealth card and see what's coming through as far as advice for how to manage your resources, which can be money, can be time, can be other things in your life. But let's see what it has to say here. This is following your instinct. So we have a wolf card here. When I look at this card, there's two things that come to mind. The first is when you are sharing your financial information with someone, whether it's how much you make or account details, etc., do you trust them? Because when I look at a wolf card, wolves can be tricky sometimes. So make sure that you're only sharing your financial information with people that you trust. And if you don't, then this is a chance for you to kind of protect yourself and make sure that you change your password or something like that. If there's something that you've done where you think, I'm worried about that individual, make sure that you do that. A wolf acts on its own. So this is saying that it's really important for you to have financial independence this month. So if you need to ask questions about how to maintain your 401k, or can I do this with my taxes, etc., etc., that's where we get back into the channeled information, which is ask questions, inform yourself, be inquisitive. Ultimately, knowing that if we were to equate this with a tarot card, it could either be the moon card, since of course we have a wolf and a dog on that, or putting it into the financial spectrum, I would see it as Nine of Pentacles, because Nine of Pentacles is independent. So it's somewhere between the moon and Nine of Pentacles. The moon about being afraid and following your intuition, and the Nine of Pentacles about ultimately getting to a point where you can take care of yourself. Now let's take a look at your love card to see what you can shift in relationships. If there's any place where things are needing to be improved or etc. Let's see what comes through for you. So for love, we have storm. And what's interesting with this is it can be a good storm. It can also be a kind of crazy one. This is having to do with higher chakras. So again, listening to intuition and understanding that sometimes you know that things are going on even if the other person isn't saying it. So being transparent and addressing it wherever possible this month. Really listen to your intuition. Time and again, the cards are showing that. That's going to be the best thing that you can do. You can use this to heal. You can also use this to avoid things. So listen to, if you're clairaudient, listen to the messages that are coming through in spirit. If you're clairvoyant, pay attention to the visions. If you just get hunches, listen to those. Also, just knowing, there's going to be an internal knowing for many of you. That's going to be your compass this month with relationships. As we look at your GPS, what I call a destiny card, let's see if you like where you're headed. So the destiny card this month is cleansing, and I think that's a wonderful way of evolving past the sobriety card. It's really about getting to a place where you're going to have more life force, more vibrancy, more vitality. So everything that we've touched upon is actually bringing you to a place of relaxation, of neutrality, of new beginnings. When we look at the death card reverse, looking at that little baby there, that's really what you're trying to get to, is growth, stability, and coming through the difficulty, coming through to the other side. As we review everything that we talked about today, your channeled information was to ask those questions. Tough questions. Don't be afraid to, there's really nothing that you could say that would sound stupid. The only thing that would be bad is if you don't do it, then you go back and you may have regret. So ask the questions. I think especially when it comes to your finances, since we saw a lot coming through with finances and needing to be transparent and feeling empowered. As we look at all of the cards here, your catalyst this month was speaking to the fact that some of the possibilities, some of the solutions are not going to necessarily be coming from expected places. You have to open your mind and your perspective to new ways of thinking. When we look at all of the cards and their locations, everything this month is really pushing you towards this idea that you can come through, you can be stronger, and you can start fresh at the end. But you need to come through first and create boundaries, to be transparent, talk about things that you're afraid of, to overcome any issues that might be surrounding resources this month, ask for help. Know that there's a lot of love and support there for you, but you have to ask for it. Stay open-minded, but also stay true to your ideals, to what's important to you. To work on health and vitality this month. To focus on being direct and constructive whenever you have to say something critical. And to know that all of this is creating for this ability for you to have a fresh start, a new beginning at the end of the month. Looking at your health card, sobriety. This is going to help some of you avoid issues down the line. This fresh start, death reverse, is going to be a way to avoid this Five of Pentacles as well. Any sort of persistent health issues. The 5 can go to the 10 of Swords if you're not careful. So now is the perfect time to create a clean slate. Looking at the wealth card, as I said, it's somewhere between the Moon and the 9 of Pentacles. Ask what questions you have that, if you're afraid of something, bring it out into the light, and then try to focus on what is necessary for you to be self-sufficient. For love, avoiding arguments by using your intuition, that's the main advice. A lot of you know that there are some things that need to be dealt with. That's why we have the Devil card, but they're the reverse. So this is a great chance to let go of whatever it is that is pulling you off track. Ultimately, this is about exiting the month in a clearer, cleaner, and brighter place, and that's why we have these readings every month. The future is malleable. It's something that you can change with every single decision. You can make all of these cards learning experiences, and you can use them as a keystone to create like this stronger and more beautiful structure around you. So I want you to do that. Allow them to be guiding lights to create a brighter future, and keep me posted on your progress this month. Now, if you'd ever like to talk a little bit more about something going on in your life that I wasn't able to touch on in the general reading, I'm more than happy to do that. The first link below the video is a way to check out rates and availability. If you'd like to just give back to this channel because you enjoy the monthly readings or the meditations, or you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to do so. I have a lot of ways you can do that, and starting with as little as $1, that goes a long way in helping me buy new cards, helping me pay for editing software and things like that. So just know that a little bit goes a long way, and it really means a lot to me. If you'd like to just stay in touch, that's really why we're here, and I want to create a community. So at minimum, I'd love for you to just join me on social networks. So feel free to like and subscribe this video if it felt like something that you gained insight from. Likewise, you can join me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I have a newsletter as well. All of those links are accessible via that third link, and that'll take you to my website. Finally, and most importantly, the reason that I'm here every single month is so that you can continue to not just see what's coming for the month ahead, but also evolve and grow your light. And so I've been so pleased by the comments, the feedback, and the sense of community that we're creating. I want you to continue to do that, and as an evolution of what we talked about last month, if there's anyone in your life that's feeling that they're trapped or that they're not in a place of light, and I see that there could be someone with the Devil, with the 10 of Swords, with the Death card here, your job this month is to bring that light to them, to help them see past the challenges, and to know that maybe some of what's going on is you're going to clean up your life so that you can be there. You can be that beacon of light for these other people. So don't give up. I think that you have a really great month ahead of you. You have a few challenges, but they're all something that you can manage. And the end point for this month is one of opportunity, of growth, of new beginnings. So thank you so much for allowing me to be your light for this month. Keep working hard on yourselves. From my heart to yours, I wish you love, happiness, and prosperity. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.